My name is Allison, and I am with Empowering Patients. We're celebrating World IBD Day. I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease at the age of 15 in 1994. I have had multiple surgeries since then, and I've also become an ostomate, which means that I also have an ileostomy, and I received that at the age of 23 in 2003. I became and began advocating for myself immediately after my diagnosis because I knew it was my body and I needed to learn the information that was being told to me about me and what needed to be done and what I needed to do for myself to help myself feel better. That was the most important thing, and I needed to understand it. It isn't easy. I can say that. I will regularly say that. It isn't easy, but I knew that it needed to be done. And that's what I did. Luckily, my doctor was very helpful, and we started the doctor patient communication immediately. And I'm so thankful for that. Through my experiences, I knew I didn't want anyone to go through the processes alone, and I started empowering patients. And I started that in 2006. And it's where I advocate to help clarify the healthcare world with you. And honestly, if you find me on social media, which I hope you guys do, that's actually what I do. I try really hard to help clarify it with you and help you understand it more. Since I've been diagnosed, I have gone to school, I have worked, I have been present for my nieces and nephews. I have played sports. I have traveled. I have learned a lot about my body, probably a lot more than I really had expected to, uh, and a lot more than I ever even imagined about other people. Um, and it's a great thing though that I've learned so much. I mean, I you learn in such a different way because it's your body, and so you're learning in a different way, and it's fascinating. Um, but also, there are difficult days. I will not gloss over that. There are difficult days. I have difficult days, and during those days, I try to check into my mental health. I try to check in with some friends, or I just yeah, bury myself in some YouTube. I bury myself in just something that'll separate me from anything else that has me think about anything. Um, and I do check in to make sure that every single day that I find something to laugh about. I try very very hard to find something to laugh about because it's so important to me. And sometimes it's said that I laugh too much, but I find the need to laugh, and that's something that is important. And I know it's very very healthy to laugh so hard. It's something that I really like to do a lot. What my IBD has brought me is just an exorbitant amount of wealth, and I don't mean financial wealth. I mean what it has brought me is it has obviously brought me extreme tough battles. I will admit that. I will admit that up and down everywhere. IBD, Crohn's, ulcerative colitis are tough. It's hard, but it has also shown me how how strong I am, and it reminds me on a regular basis of that when when I'm faced with the next battle, and then I can get through that next battle. And I'm continuing to learn every single day about myself. I am learning about my friends. And not only that, I get to meet people. I get to meet people all over the world, like you guys. Oh my gosh. I get to I get to interact with people like you guys all the time, pretty much every single day. How that would have never happened without my IBD. How does that happen? I think that's outstanding, amazing. It fills my heart. I'm so honored. I love it. I'm so thankful. And that's something. And I learn from you guys. I learn from everyone. I'm so fascinated, and I have so much respect for my peers, and I have so much understanding for them. And it's all because of my IBD. We're all in this together. We all are a part of the broader IBD family. So, with that said, what I typically would say is it may not be ideal, but it'll be okay.
Hey everybody, my name is Jeremy, currently living in the United States. Was asked by a good friend of mine to do a video about my IBD and ulcerative colitis. It's kind of shocked. Never really had anyone reach out and ask me to do a video. But I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis in 2009. That was after a long battle with being ill but not being diagnosed. It all began when I went to college in 2000. I always had stomach issues. Then it started getting worse, and it was always attributed to stress, college, new situation. No one ever really took it seriously. It was always told it was irritable bowel, and that I just needed to eat healthy. However, in 2009, diagnosed after having blood in my stool. Unfortunately, at that point, I was very sick. Had multiple hospital stays. Tried multiple biologics, multiple medications. The only thing that really kept me in remission was prednisone. And that was at a very high dose. And so being on prednisone took kind of its own toll physically, mentally, but it was able to keep me out of the hospital. However, unfortunately, in 2013, after a long series of multiple hospital stays, I had to have a total proctocolectomy. So I have a permanent ileostomy now since 2013. It's been a challenge. It's definitely something you have to learn to address and grow with and move forward. I think the biggest thing is being able to advocate for yourself. People don't understand it. They think it's just a disease that you have an upset stomach, not knowing that you have absolutely zero control over your bowels and you have to rush to get to the bathroom before you have an accident. However, though, with my ileostomy and after being able to get everything under control, I'm a happy, healthy father. Have two kids, one who's 9, one who's 7. It's been something that they understand. They've known from a very young age. Both my kids know that I have an ileostomy, what that means. They've been also very thankful that they know that having an ileostomy saved my life and kept me from being so sick. I'm able to go to Disney, be able to go on water slides, things that I wasn't able to do before because I was always worried about where the bathroom was. I think the biggest thing is being able to understand where your limit is. I was so worried about being so young and having an ileostomy. However, looking back, I wish I would have done it sooner. And the other big piece of it is just taking care of your mental health. Yes, this is a colon and a gut disease, however you want to term it, but it has many more impacts on your mental health, and you've got to take care of that too, so you're strong enough mentally to be able to fight the physical aspects as well as the mental. I hope this is something that can help you. Always more than happy to talk to others about my journey and what I've gone through. I wish everybody the best. Thanks.
Hi, my name's Sahara and I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis in 2007. I'd actually only had symptoms for 2 weeks. They came on thick and fast. My disease progressed really rapidly. So I'd spent 2 weeks at home with the abdominal cramps, the diarrhoea, the blood, the mucus, the fever. And I'd basically just slept for a week. A lot of weight loss. I'd lost nearly a stone in 2 weeks. And then I went to A&E. So I was admitted for severe dehydration. I had a colonoscopy and they identified that I had got ulcerative colitis. I stayed in the hospital on IV hydrocortisone via drip in the hope that that would force me into remission. It didn't. So I had emergency surgery within that first week of being in hospital to have my colon removed and an ileostomy. So that was it was pretty traumatic for me. I was 19 years old. Up until that point, I'd never been unwell at all, really. My teenage years had basically revolved around socialising. I was out at the weekends, I was drinking, I was being with my friends. So it was definitely an unforeseen circumstance. I absolutely hated it. Like, I didn't want to talk to anybody about it. I didn't really want anybody to know that it existed. So I didn't talk about having inflammatory bowel disease at all, really, for the first 7 years. And the stoma I absolutely hated. The bags didn't stick. I was constantly dealing with leaks to the point where I didn't really want to leave the house. So I ultimately opted to have that reversed. So I had a J pouch built out of my small intestine to replace my rectum. So that was 2 years later, 2009, I think, that was actually connected up. Unfortunately, my inflammatory bowel disease then, rather than being in the form of ulcerative colitis, came back as pouchitis, and I struggled with that on and off for years and years. I had a second stoma in 2014 for 5 months. And by that point, I mean, the game changer for me was the fact that I'd found the IBD and stoma community online. So I don't think without them and having spoken to those other really inspirational people that were really grateful for their ostomies, I don't think I'd have dealt with it very well. But by that point, because I'd met them, I knew that there were other options, that there were other bags, that there was this underwear that you could buy and keep it stuck to you so not everybody could see. So that was a massive game changer. The second stoma was a pretty good one, and I genuinely enjoyed the fact that it had given me a quality of life back. In 2018, September, is when I had my third ileostomy, which is a permanent one, and my J pouch removed. So, and I don't really know what to say about it. There's literally nothing negative. Like, I'm so happy with it. It feels like this should have been the normal that I was living all along. I mean, I can't pretend that it's normal as much as a normal person, generic well person, would think that they were normal. But for me, in my terms of normal, I think it's the best that I can hope for. So I'm really, really grateful for my stoma. I love World IBD Day because I can feel the community spirit. Everybody is sharing their own stories. Other people are sharing the other people's stories, and it's a great time for people to get together, get connected, and it just validates how other people are feeling. I don't think I've got a secret to coping with IBD. It's definitely been a huge, long journey for me. I think the turning point was probably when I accepted that I was never going to be the normal that I knew before. So then I could look at what I did have, what tools I had got to work with, and then focused on how I could get to where I wanted to be in smaller steps, or basically just enjoying life with what I had to work with. And generally most of the time I am really happy. I mean, the fatigue and the joint pain is an issue, but it's about learning to figure out where your own limits are, and the other people around you need to understand those too. Why do I support others with IBD? I run a project called IBD Superheroes. So that raises awareness, raises funds for research, and also has a support group. I use my own personal social media channels just to support people with IBD. I don't want anybody else to go through what I did in terms of the isolation, basically just not really knowing what was out there. So if I can help speed up that process to acceptance and help people overcome certain barriers that they're facing, then that's what I'd really, really like to do. Basically, I think I want to be the person that I needed when I was diagnosed and struggling. Thanks for listening.
Hi everybody, my name is Brady, and back in 1996 I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. When I was diagnosed, the medical community and the world at large really didn't have much of a clue what IBD, how extensive IBD is, or what even Crohn's was. So it was a very difficult journey trying to understand and find out what was actually wrong with me. At one point, I had the lead gastroenterologist at the Cleveland Clinic recommend that I have my colon completely removed, colonectomy, if you will. Luckily, I did not take this person's advice, and am happy to say that I have had no surgeries. I'm completely whole, and actually, I have been in remission for the past 7 years. My message to the rest of the IBD Crohn's community is to weather the storm, get good rest, reduce stress as much as possible, and be physically active when your body allows it. Listen to your body. It speaks to you. Even though it might be subtle, it does speak to you. So I guess that's my message to the community out there. Thank you, and stay healthy. Bye.
Hello, happy World IBD Day. My name is Tina of ownyourcrohns.com. I've had Crohn's disease for 14 years and change now. I live with a permanent ileostomy, and I've had several fistulas over the years. I've had over 20 surgeries in a period of 7 years with my Crohn's disease. Many of which were around removing my colon, getting an ileostomy, dealing with reversing my J pouch. In addition to that, I've had many surgeries around fistula-related complications. The reason why I do the work that I do with regards to Crohn's disease and ostomies is mainly to create awareness for the disease and for our experiences. I also am really trying to normalize the talk around these diseases and around life-saving ostomy surgery. I would like to see a world where we are more accepted as people with a bowel disease and as people who go to the bathroom a little bit differently than the rest of the world. I think that there is no shame in having this disease and talking about it, but I realize that people don't view it that way. I'm of South Asian background. My family is from India and from Pakistan. I faced a great deal of stigma with my ostomy in both getting married and in both seeking treatment and in really trying to share my story. It's been a long journey, but I share my story in order to have other people feel like they too can have a voice. It's very difficult as women of color to share that we have this. It's often seen as a flaw, and I want you all to know that you don't have to live in shame and in silence, that we are all people, that we all deserve love, and that we all deserve to get married in spite of having inflammatory bowel disease, in spite of having ostomies, and that's why I do the work that I do on my blog. Please follow me. I'm on ownyourcrohns.com. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at ownyourcrohns. Thank you so much, and I wish you all a very happy World IBD Day.
Assalamu alaikum. Hi, happy World IBD Day. My name is Aisha. I'm an artist. I'm originally from Bangladesh, but I'm based in Saudi Arabia. I've had Crohn's disease for 14 years. I was diagnosed at the age of 14 in 2006. Crohn's has affected both my colon and my rectum, and over the years I've suffered several complications such as abscesses and fistulas, which have required multiple surgeries. In 2015 I got a temporary ileostomy, which I had for about 2 years, but unfortunately I developed diversion colitis. So in 2017 I had a total colectomy with a permanent ileostomy, which was life-changing until last year when I had my total proctectomy, which I'm still recovering from, slowly but surely. My journey with Crohn's disease, as difficult as it has been, it has given me the strength to continue fighting. I know it's easier said than done, but I'll be honest, I've been on the verge of giving up so many times, and if I didn't have the support I have in my life, I probably would have given up a long time ago. Alhamdulillah, I've been blessed with friends and family who continue to give me strength by supporting me and by pushing me to my limits every step of the way. They've believed in me more than I've ever believed in myself. I graduated high school. I went to university abroad, which took me 7 years to complete. I dropped out 3 times and decided that I never wanted to go back each time. But part of me always knew that giving up wasn't an option, and it shouldn't be for anyone. I mean, this disease has taught me the value of life and health. It has given me the patience and strength I probably never had. I personally believe that it is a blessing in disguise, and surely after every hardship comes ease. So to all you beautiful warriors out there, please don't give up on your dreams. It may take a little longer, but you will definitely get there. You can follow me on my Instagram at Daisy Crohn's Warrior. Thank you, and I wish you all a very happy World IBD Day.
السلام عليكم. أنا اسمي محمد المعلة من مملكة البحرين. تشخصت بمرض الكرونز ديزيز في سنة 2001 يوم كان عمري 13 سنة. في بداية الأمر كان الموضوع جدا صعب علي بحكم أني كنت صغير في السن، وبحكم أن هذه المرض أول مرة أسمع فيه، وما كان هناك المعلومات الكافية المتوفرة اللي أقدر أني أطلع على هذا المرض بشكل كافي. لكن بدعم من والديني وبفضل من الله سبحانه وتعالى قدرت أني أتغلب على هذه الصعوبة وأتغلب على هذه التحدي، ومشيت على نصايح الأطباء، ومشيت على الخطة العلاجية اللي وصفوها لي، بحيث أني أنا أقدر أتعايش وأقدر أتأقلم مع هذا المرض طول هذه الفترة اللي فاتت. رسالة أحب أوجهها لكل إخواني وأخواتي في اليوم العالمي لداء الأمعاء الالتهابي كرونز والقولون التقرحي. كونوا سعداء، كونوا متفائلين، كونوا واثقين بالله سبحانه وتعالى. أنتم أبطال، أنتم قدوة، أنتم قوة. كونوا على قرب من جميع مجموعات الدعم والتوعية بداء الأمعاء الالتهابي لتبادل الخبرات ولتبادل التجارب، لأن هذا الشيء راح يقويكم أكثر وراح يعطيكم دافع أكثر أن أنتم تتأقلمون وتتعايشون مع المرض بشكل سليم. وكل عام وأنتم بخير.
Hello, my name is Fatima Haji from the Kingdom of Bahrain. I was diagnosed with Crohn's May 2019 at the age of 17. I honestly had to face many obstacles as it was a shock to my family and I. But someone once told me, treat Crohn's as your friend that needs extra care. And here I am, never allowing Crohn's to stop me from living my life as I am in charge. After being diagnosed with Crohn's, I decided to create the Crohn's and Colitis page Bahrain, and that was the best decision that I've ever made. My advice is always be optimistic, achieve your goals, and finally, live your life. Don't let anything stop you from doing whatever you love. I'd like to conclude by saying, Crohn's did not stop me from being the graduate of 2020. Corona did. So stay home and stay safe. Happy World IBD Day.